Okay, so it looks like we're ready to go. Okay, so look. I don't really feel like doing this today. I just want to kind of mope around and not do anything and be mad that things didn't turn out the way I want them to. But that's not being a person. So I'm gonna follow through with this, and I'm gonna comment on something. So there's quite a bit to comment on right now, and I just couldn't pick. So, as I said the other day, my main goal with this is to understand why men and women aren't talking to each other, and if there's anything that we can do to repair it while I'm still alive. My reason for that is both selfish and altruistic. Selfish because I don't want to be alone forever, but altruistic because I understand that is that's a pretty high possibility. So at least this can help, my experience can help benefit you guys, hopefully. So that's my main interest, and that's sort of my main motivation in commenting on anything, to sort of understand this gender divide that we are seeing, and to see if there's any inroad that I can make. So, of course, this gender divide is related to politics, right? We saw a lot of young men voting for Trump. We saw mostly women voting for Harris. And we see it all over social media. We see men all over Twitter talking about a lot of things. We see women all over TikTok talking about a lot of things. And they don't seem to agree. And yesterday, a few other things. I think, men are seeking out organized religion. Women are leaving organized religion. Women are seeking out higher advanced degrees, and men are leaving higher education. So we're seeing a lot of this sort of divide going on between the genders that's permeating into politics. And with the assassination of Charlie Kirk this week, things are amplified a lot, quite a bit. I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about that, and if I wanted to talk about the reactions that we're seeing. I thought maybe I wanted to comment on this one TikToker who's very leftist. I forget her name, but I've posted her a few times. But ultimately, I also thought maybe I should just forget all that and let's talk about red flags or whatever, because I probably have a lot to say about that. But maybe Pearl is the one to comment on today. So I haven't watched this. I don't know what she says. When I think of Pearl, I don't think of politics. I think of the manosphere, and I think of, kind of like the mid-era manosphere. So, what kind of gave Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit as they rose to prominence in that area of the internet. I think of Pearl kind of going along with that era and that sort of discourse. So like I said, I don't think of her so much as somebody who is into politics. She has been working quite a bit with home math. And home math he makes these really charming, clever, brilliant videos on modern dating, and they're really cute and funny. They are definitely they favor men over women, but not always, but usually. Fine, whatever. Home Math and Pearl have done a couple of things together. And Home Math on Twitter is off the hook. Home Math on Twitter is like replacement theory all day. I have feelings and thoughts on replacement theory. And they run the gamut, you know. Yeah, they run the gamut. So I can probably even, like, dig up inside of me an empathy and a way of relating to what home math, how home math feels. I do not empathize with what he is saying because it is morally and pragmatically wrong. And the more people who adopt views like that, the quicker the world will end. And maybe that's what you guys want. I don't. So let's see what Pearl has to say. I have no idea what she's going to say, but we all know Pearl. She needs no introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, Pearl Davis.
You know, while maybe I disagreed with him on certain issues, this is just, it's such a tragedy to see a guy that's so young go out this way. I don't know, guys. So today, I
think that's like the first compassionate thing I've ever seen come from Pearl. So, okay.
In the middle of a guitar lesson, when I heard the news that Charlie Kirk was shot.
Wait, did she just say she was in the middle of a guitar lesson?
I was just in shock.
Kind of. Hold on. I think that's kind of adorable that this lady, this unpopular lady, for good reason, is taking guitar lessons. I really, really want to hear her play. Pearl, I want more of that for you. All right, I don't want to listen to you talk so slowly. Not that I talk quickly at all. I have a lot to work on in my presentation, for sure. All right, is this one good?
I was having a really hard time concentrating because, you know, we did have our disagreements. You know, we didn't see everything the same, but, you know, the past 10 years,
I don't know what they disagreed over, but probably marriage. Pearl probably thinks marriage is always bad for men. Charlie Kirk probably thought it was good for everyone.
I've watched his content. And this just feels like in the last 2 years, things have gotten so crazy. Like, I don't remember anybody getting shot in the last decade of abortion debates, woke activist debates, or any of that stuff. And
abortion doctors have been getting shot for a long time. That's been a thing since the 80s or 90s for sure. I remember that growing up.
Regardless of how you feel about his opinions on certain issues, nobody deserves to die because of an opinion. And it's just
100%. She's absolutely right. Nobody deserves to die because of an opinion. Yes, true.
Just weird to watch someone do a type of content I've done before, and be somebody that's really was monumental in the culture war the past decade.
My name is Sophie.
Sasha.
Robert.
Ron.
Okay. Okay, I can skip now.
Die. And it was just really sad. Okay, let me read what I was reading earlier. So it says, Charlie Kirk was fatally shot at a Utah campus rally. Conservative activist Charlie Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA and a key ally of former President Donald Trump, was fatally shot during a speaking event at Utah Valley University on Wednesday. This incident occurred outdoors in Orem, Utah, amid a debate with students, leading to a campus lockdown and a widespread condemnation from political leaders across the spectrum. Authorities are actively searching for the shooter with no motive yet disclosed. As tragedy reignites concerns over political violence and campus security, reactions on social media have splurged, with millions expressing shock and grief.
So this is 21 hours old. I think they did catch the person. Maybe.
Grief, highlighting Kirk's role as a husband and a father. It's actually even more sad because I don't know how this happened. People that know him told me that he had like Secret Service as his security. So I don't know how this happened. Okay, let's see.
Let me tell you something about Secret Service for people who aren't the president. I worked at the Cutting Room in New York City as a bartender. The Cutting Room is owned by Christopher Noth. You know him from Sex and the City as Mr. Big. He's actually one of the few Republicans in Hollywood. Anyway, George W. Bush had a fundraiser at the Cutting Room when I was working there. And the Secret Service, I couldn't believe how lax it was. I I just walked in with my backpack, threw it under the bar, and I asked them, I'm like, you're not gonna look at anything? Like, you just trust us? They're like, oh yeah, we did background check. I was like, what's my name? Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, that's my experience with Secret Service.
All right, so this was him earlier today, like literally this morning. Pearl, I don't agree with your content, but I want to say thank you for being there. Thank you for showing up for a man of Christ. Thanks for watching. I'm just in disbelief. I wish I could. It's so weird because I've interviewed so many of these guys and they really are brave. Like I interviewed Andrew Tate, he got thrown in jail. I interviewed Tommy Sotomayor, thrown in jail, Nick, assassination attempt. And Charlie, me and my dad went to one of his events probably like 5 years ago now. And I didn't spend a lot of time with Charlie personally, but his right-hand man spent 4 days.
I have a hard time putting Andrew Tate and Charlie Kirk in the same category. Charlie Kirk seemed pretty smart and caring. Andrew Tate is Andrew Tate. There was another name that I don't recognize. Hold on.
Spend a lot of time with Charlie personally, but his right-hand man spent 4 days straight with us. They were really nice. And again, I did, while maybe I disagreed with him on certain issues, it's such a tragedy to see a guy that's so young go out this way. Like, he didn't even get to enjoy the second half of life. Personally, but his right-hand man, spent 4 days straight with us. They were really nice. Got thrown in jail. I interviewed Tommy Sotomayor, thrown in jail, Nick.
Tommy Sotomayor, that's the name. I don't know who that is. Nick Fuentes, I think she's talking about.
So that's getting rushed out. So weird. That was him. Wow.
Is that him the day up? I think it is.
And then with Trump, too, this is going to set a precedent for political events. I don't think people are going to be, even streamers. I sent the link to a couple streamers. I don't know if they'll hop on, but it's I think a lot of people are going to kind of move differently after this. You have to. Okay, let's see another one. Share this. Oh, Doug, this is 2 hours long.
I guess she's just talking about herself, which is fine.
Let me go to the next one. Okay, and the crazy thing is, Democrats on Reddit can barely contain their glee over Charlie Kirk's shooting. So there's a lot of people that are actually celebrating his death. And this is something
I don't think there are a lot of people celebrating his death. I will say that the video that one of the other videos that I considered commenting on today was from a leftist TikToker who this video of hers was actually commented on by Hassan Piker, and then she followed up and she was very excited that Hassan had commented on her. Her point was something like, look, don't feel pressured to have any particular reaction over this. And I think that's fair. And I think that point of view can be used by the right wing also when they go crazy and espouse this replacement theory stuff. So, okay, feel how you want to feel, So you can say, you don't have to feel bad. Feel the feelings that you really have. So whether that's relief that somebody who's saying things that you think are harmful to you that might be an existential threat to you, might be. expressing your feelings about that person's I don't feel comfortable celebrating over anyone's death, so I don't feel comfortable even saying it. But one thing I do feel comfortable saying that is true is that feel your feelings for the things that made you feel those feelings. The next step is the next step and something different. But everyone, even the worst feelings for the worst thoughts, they're entitled to their feelings and their thoughts and their words. What we're not entitled to, we are not entitled to violent action. And a lot of the words that we're saying right now, I'm concerned that they could lead to more of this on both sides. We've seen it from both sides. Come on. Anyone who says different is out of their mind.
I really don't see on the right. I don't see the right having calls for violence.
What are you talking about? They're like a replacement theory all over the place.
Against people that disagree with us. I understand people thought some of his opinions were abhorrent or they didn't think they were the right opinions, but he was still a husband and a father and he was doing a job. Fred said, these are some of the comments off of the Redditors. Bummer, time to release the files. Well, that's terrible. Anyway, so what's everyone having for dinner? I truly hope we're in the find out era for shitty human beings. If you want to limit the access to guns for civilization, I guess if he had his own gun, this could have been avoided. What a shit show. I don't care for this guy, but trying to kill him is insane. He did say he was fired up and ready. Oh my gosh. Pro-gun activist shot. Ironic. The video looks like he was shot long range, something like a rifle. Appears to have done serious damage.
Yeah, so I take issue with a lot of this sort of bringing tragedy into furthering people's people looking at tragedy and then using it to further their own political agenda. So with Charlie Kirk, people using that to sort of further their anti-gun political agenda. I don't think that's a good look. Do I have a stronger argument for that? Not really, but I don't think it's... I think we should respect how people are feeling. We should respect somebody's life. So I don't love the fact that people are using this to talk about guns. I also don't love the fact that people are using Irina Izaruska's murder as an excuse to be... Come on. I know this word is probably overused in 2025, but I mean, there's no other word for it, to be violently racist. And they are just speaking, but thoughts can turn into actions.
This is not the way to handle things. However, when you make a career out of spewing vitriol and hate, you are going to attract the crazies. The dude is a clown, but woof, don't go shooting people you don't like. Yep, this is a major moment. I ain't a betting man, but I can guarantee the shooter was a radical Democrat, and they'll start coming for guns. Charlie is most likely dead, shot to the neck.
First of all, radical leftists do not identify themselves as Democrats. How do you not know that?
Yeah, and I don't think I can play the video on YouTube, but if you go on Twitter, it's at the top, and it's...
At Wells Fargo, we get it. You started your...
I don't know what to say. Skip. Oh, they're gonna make me go through the whole one. Yeah, I don't pay... Well, I do pay for stuff. I gotta work on that.
Technical Institute.
All right, what are we saying here? There's nobody in the chat. That's all good.
There's this guy, Hassan Mafi, says, what happened to Charlie Kirk happens in Gaza every single day, and he cheered for it. Karma comes when people least expect it. And it's just disgusting. I understand we can have a difference in opinion of war, but, I mean, he was a father. He was a husband. And everybody that worked with him had good things to say. Again, you go back and forth in this space, you disagree with people, but wishing death upon anybody. So essentially, yeah, they did.
So I'm not gonna go through. I mean, I could just click over here. Oh, well, all right, okay. What's going on here? Yeah, so a lot of this is going on. Oh, here we go. 100% of Democrats are bad people. Oh, God. That can't be spoken to. This is the math guy is saying 100% of a population is a specific way that has nothing to do with the marker. So, I mean, if he was saying something like, all dogs are mammals, okay, like that's built into the definition of dog, but like built into the definition of Democrat absolutely is not somebody who can't be spoken to. We've been in political debates for, I don't know when the first presidential debate was, but that's been going on for a very long time. And Democrats are involved in that every single time. I don't love the Democrats. I don't love the Republicans. In fact, I don't like any politicians. How could anyone like any politicians? That's crazy to me and to a lot of people. But to say that you can't speak to them is like another, just as crazy. More crazy. All right. We have to literally march them into FEMA camps. Okay. Where they will stay until death. So, if we're going to talk about, and I wasn't even planning on doing this. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I wasn't planning on doing this, on showing what people are saying on the right. I just said, oh, I'm not going to do that. I could do it. And then I came over here and I saw this. So, and that look means her criticism of the left is a perfectly more than fair criticism to make of the right. Her criticism is that people on the left are saying disgusting things. Yes, they are. Oh, they're also saying disgusting things on the right.
Did arrest this guy, but it wasn't actually him. Charlie Kirk even tweeted a couple of months ago, assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. Holy crap, 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is a natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture.
So that might be true. Growing up, it was always sort of the right wing that were considered more violent. And it makes sense. They're more, they want to spend money on military. They're more often in the military. That is, I don't know what a great word for that, but it's our system of violence. I'm not saying we don't need a military. We do, probably. I don't know. Yeah, sure we do. We do. Thank you for your service. Please, come on. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm supposed to write down the points that I'm responding to.
Culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local protesters and school officials have...
Oh, right. So, right. Growing up, it was always the right that was more violent. In the last couple of years, and I don't know if it's just like where I kind of ended up in life or what, but I've just been hearing people on the left screech about burning it all down in violence for a while now. And I just kind of wrote it off as immature, and it is. I don't think most people, immature and delusional, and it is. I don't think most people are going to go out and kill people and burn things down, and they shouldn't. Maybe, more people like me saying this is going to make them do it, but don't do that, guys. Whatever side you're on. Stop killing people. Stop burning stuff.
Have turned into a ticking time bomb. MSNBC hopped on the bandwagon, and this is just the audacity of these people. It's crazy. Here, let me show you.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea. But
in which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea.
Yeah, they just speculated that it could have been a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration. Oh my God.
Yeah, that seems implausible.
Start show this tab instead.
Of younger figures in this, but following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive especially divisive younger.
Okay, so this guy was, I believe he was let go from MSNBC for this commentary. I don't really like any news outlets. I think they're all just corporations that are playing to, yeah, I'm tired of all this too, Last Mile 87. Yeah. What was I saying? I got distracted.
Figures in this who is.
Oh yeah, I don't ride for any news outlet. I think they're all just corporations that are feeding people a product that they want. So Fox feeds the conservatives what they want to hear. MSNBC and CNN feed the conservatives what they want to hear. And I came to this conclusion after the 2016 election. So I, voted for Hillary Clinton. I was pissed that Trump won. But I went on CNN and it was so stupid. Like they were just obviously I think they were doing like a man on the street interviews, and they were just like trying to lead everybody into like one point of view, and like they went up to like some black guy or something, and they were like expecting him to be mad about Trump, and like I guess like he didn't say what they wanted him to say, so they moved away from him pretty quickly. That's a memory I have. I don't know if it's accurate, but basically I just got, after the 2016 election, watching CNN, I'm like, I don't know about these news networks. Yeah, media
Constantly
sucks.
sort of pushing this sort of hate
Especially the big
speech
ones.
sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Yeah, so I think he's right about that, and I want us to not do that.
All right, Doug.
But following up on what was just said, he's been one.
You cannot hate the left enough sometimes.
Yeah, I didn't think it was really there.
So Pearl confuses me, because all of her friends on her last show were black, and obviously there are conservative black people, obviously. But if we look at what the right is saying, well, this is just about Democrats, but he's said a bunch of other stuff. Let's see. Oh God. Yeah, here we go. I wasn't planning on picking on him, but look what he's saying. If Satan had a people, they would never call themselves Satan's people. Satan is a liar. They would call themselves something else. They would probably be stereotypically ugly. Okay. And constantly involved in discussing behaviors in business. Okay, that I think was probably anti-Semitic. You deserve it for spreading hate. Don't you hate white people? Yeah, but you deserve it. Yeah, okay. I don't know. He has like a lot of replacement theory stuff here. At least I've noticed it, and it bothers me. But anyway, we'll keep going.
And we this channel, you and your platform have had your differences with Charlie Kirk and his wife, but I always put akin to Charlie Kirk. He was like your little brother that you kind of made fun of, but you knew when he graduated high school, he got older and stuff like that, that he do big things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he just been around for so long, and for this to happen to him, like Myron has to watch out. I mean, you have to watch out, Pearly Pearl. You have to watch out.
I'm done with street.
I don't know who she's talking to. Some other streamer, I guess.
For the year.
Yes.
I'll know.
Any conservatives that are doing street interviews or events, this is setting up the precedent that none of them are safe. And so I'm just, Charlie Kirk, he went out saying his message, on his mission, doing what he loved to do. And that's, I mean, I'm just at a loss for words. You know me, I'm almost never at a loss for words. I just can't believe it.
No, that's how I feel. I mean, we grew up, like, I just can't. I remember when I was in college and everything was like, I think that was like peak left, was about when I was in college. So
I think Pearl and I are about the same age. She might be a little younger.
Would have been like 10 years ago, maybe, like 7 to 10.
Oh, she was in college 10 years ago? Oh.
10 years ago. You barely ever heard any dissenting opinions that were right-leaning, especially when you're in very left-leaning institutions. And I just remember binging him, Candace Owens, Jordan Peterson. And I'm not saying they're perfect people, but they still were effective at changing people's minds, And it's...
Yeah, and now they're not. Now they're like considered centrists in today's political climate.
It's so sad to just see where the country has come. Where, I don't know, I can't remember anybody having issues like this for a decade. And in the past year, Trump had an attempted assassination at an event. Nick had someone come to his house, and now Charlie Kirk was shot dead in an event.
Booking.
All right. I'm not going to compete with her over, like, which side has more risks going on, which side is, like, more threatened. I think we are all pretty threatened. I have more testimony I can give you of things that I've heard on the internet, but they're a little bit, and this is coming from right-wing people, because I'm just so annoyed with the left right now. I mean, the right is also a big problem, but I've just been engaging a little bit more with the right, and I heard some and seen some things that I really hope is just all talk. Because if it's not, well, I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I care more about why men and women aren't getting along than about politics in general, at least for the purpose of these streams. This is part of it. It's related. I didn't talk too much about the way that it's related, other than obviously Pearl is, rides for the dudes, as does Homath, and they're on the right. I don't know. Don't shoot anyone. And maybe if you're going to process your feelings with violence, maybe keep it to people that